Why does everyone seem to hate Dwight Howard? And not everybody in the world hates Dwight Howard, but the media has this relationship with Dwight Howard that always puts him on blast. And recently, a couple articles from ESPN started to surface as to Dwight Howard wanting to be out of Houston and where his free agency will take him this offseason. So let's go back in time, Francis. Let's go back to Dwight Howard's start. He had a tremendous MVP-esque season with the Orlando Magic when they made the NBA Finals and got absolutely obliterated because that team, that was against the Los Angeles Lakers. That was supposed to be the LeBron James versus Kobe Bryant NBA Finals, but it just simply wasn't. So, yeah. But what happened in that series basically is Dwight Howard became Superman. This is when Dwight Howard was loved. This is when this man can't do no wrong. He's cut. He's here. He's he's going to stay on the Magic just like Shaq didn't when he went to LA instead, except Dwight Howard basically did the same thing. And then he had his tenure with the Rockets, and now he's going to be gone, probably gone, even though there's some coaching speculation as to who might be coming in, including like Grizzlies assistant coaches to be their defensive masterminds for that team. Very interesting stuff going on. But still, I got some quotes to show you from Dwight Howard, at least Dwight Howard's side of things. So let's first, this is in relation to the Orlando Magic trade that dealt Dwight Howard away. And I thought this was pretty interesting because it also was when he was with Stan Van Gundy. We'll get to that in just a minute. ESPN, so why do you decide you wanted to be traded? Again, this is back in time with Orlando. Quote, right after the lockout ended in December, I went to GMO to Smith, but before that I called Jameer Nelson and told him I was going to ask for a trade. Told him this has nothing to do with you, Coach Stan Van Gundy, or anyone else. I just want a different atmosphere. I'm too comfortable here. I need to grow. Continues to say about Orlando, if you can do it over, would you stay in Orlando? I loved Orlando. I loved the city, but at that time, I didn't feel winning was a priority. Okay, that's fair. And then he gets into a little bit about the Rockets. This is all at the same time. This is a recent interview. There were times I was disinterested because of situations that happened behind the scenes that really hurt me. It left me thinking this is not what I signed up for. So come back real quick. There's something very similar about his time in Orlando and his time in Houston, right? Get to opinions after. I felt like my role was being reduced. I went to Rockets general manager Daryl Morey, and he said, I want to be more involved. Daryl said, no, we don't want you to be. My response was, why not? Why am I here? It was shocking to me that it came from him instead of our coach, so I said to him, no disrespect to what you do, but you've never played the game. I've been in this game a long time. I know what it takes to be effective. All right. You know a lot about Dwight Howard. You know that he is sometimes unfairly lobbed pot shots in the media, and other times he's fairly criticized in the media, like when he was trying to be funny and he wasn't.
Yeah, I think that he's a complex character. I think that when I remember Dwight Howard from the Magic, he was everything that I admired about the NBA, like just his stature, the way he held himself, like just the way he played. I remember him at the Lakers, and I remember the sudden shift in the fandom towards him. And of course, you make a big move like that, you're going to have those that are saying you're a bandwagoner, you're just questioning success. I never hold a player accountable. Like, I will never put a player in a negative light for trying to pursue their own excellence and try to obtain their dreams. At that point, you see someone like Dwight Howard going to a franchise like the Lakers. Of course, his ambition was a major part of it. Everyone wants the same way that people want to go and play for Real Madrid or want to go and play for the Yankees. It's just a big staple name that people want to look back in their career and say, I played for the Lakers. I never think negatively of a player for doing that. So I wasn't as torn with him then. It's when I see Dwight Howard with his back against the wall, and I know he's faced injuries, like back problems. A guy that size, that stature, is going to have his problems. But it's the way that I never really see Dwight Howard pick those up around him. And he has the ability when he's on his day and when he was in his peak to be a game changer and to be someone that people look to for leadership and to move forward. And I don't see him being that big man that can help redefine a franchise or redefine a team. And the funny thing is we just did this clip here before, right? So if you can see that, you probably can't. But it was an article back in March, Draymond Green's passion, a catalyst for the Warriors. And that was from Kobe Bryant. And you see a big man like Draymond Green, who I believe uses his passion, that personality that comes along with him to drive his team to be better. And I feel like Dwight Howard had done that before. His personality on the court is obviously something we all know of, but he doesn't have I don't think the same amount of fire and passion that Draymond Green has, but he could have the same ability to be transcendent for his team. I just think he chooses not to.
Dwight Howard was also #1 overall pick. He was out of high school, so he was a little bit more immature when he came in. Now, the Magic was the one fit for Dwight Howard, and that's why I think it's such a strange quote when he says, I loved Orlando, I loved that city, I was too comfortable. I don't really get what he means by that, because if you that's the only time you've made the finals. But so you go to LA, he goes to LA. Let's move forward with this, because he goes to Los Angeles, and Kobe is obviously not the easiest teammate to play with, and Dwight Howard's not the easiest teammate to play with, as we know at this point. Here's 4 tweets via Complex. They put these together, at least from in regards to when Dwight got injured playing with Kobe. Quote, he said something like, "We don't have time for Dwight to be hurt. The media is asking me, quote, did you talk to Kobe about your injuries? I said, I didn't realize I was supposed to check with another player about my health." He continues to say, people were saying, "Dwight's so strong, he's Superman, he should just play through it. It was a torn labrum. I should have had surgery, but I didn't. I came back instead." And that makes a good point there, actually. Dwight Howard gets credit for that one. Dwight Howard's played through some of the most intense basketball injuries that the league has ever seen.
Yeah.
Okay, the back spasms, the torn labrums, the knees, and by the way, in last year when they were the top of the Western Conference, or second seed in the Western Conference last year, the Houston Rockets, he was playing through more back spasms and he was averaging doubles in those games. So Dwight Howard unfairly gets treated, even though sometimes he brings it upon himself. Yeah. He's just not the best at articulating, what he's trying to say or really maybe being fully open about his position. Lastly, Stan Van Gundy, CBS Sports, who used to be the coach of the Orlando Magic, led them to the NBA Finals where they lost to the Lakers, and also is now famously known for the SVFG offense, Stan Van fucking Gundy offense and defense, because you form a wall. You form a fucking wall.
Nobody can do anything but tickle. We just form a fucking wall.
That's what you do. He's in Detroit right now. But so CBS Sports looked back on why Stan Van Gundy kind of, and the word choice is tough here, put inside the locker room info out in a press conference. So this was Stan Van Gundy's words. "My intent at the time was there was so much speculation. I knew it would be a big deal for a day or two, get all of the BS done. Let's put it out in the open and it will sort of die as a story. Speculation could be ongoing. Once it's out there, you can talk about it for a while, but then it dies. I think that's what would have happened, and we could have gotten back. Yeah, the disagreements between Stan and Dwight, but we can get back to playing basketball." And that's what it seemed like Stan Van Gundy was trying to do, was just keep this focused on winning basketball games, not so much where's Dwight going, is Dwight happy, can Dwight stay in Orlando, does he sign an extension? So Dwight has had probably one of the most checkered NBA careers in terms of movement. But he's going to probably be another free agent this year, and he's going to be a big piece, because if he's healthy and he could play, he still can be a great big man.
Yeah, what system does he fit into then? What team do you think can acquire?
I think I know exactly where Dwight should go, and I think it would be insane for him not to. Although the Knicks are probably going to gear up to make a bid at him. Frank Vogel just took over the Orlando Magic. Going back to Orlando is possibly the one place Dwight Howard would be welcomed back with open arms.
I think it'd be. I mean, the thing is right. What I give him credit for as well is that quote where he's like, "I was comfortable." Like, there's certain things that you just don't really need to give that much of an answer to. Like, you make bad decisions in your career, but looking back and thinking, maybe I should have done that differently, you can tell that he stands by his decisions, and he made those decisions for a reason. Like, I would probably be the same if I was in that situation. No matter what level you are at, you're lured by bigger deals. You're lured by the spotlight. LeBron James was lured by the idea of going to a Miami Heat team, and he went and was successful. That if he would probably have regretted that decision either way. He could have stayed with Orlando, but then further down the line, you don't really know what happened, and he might not have had the ability to look back and say, "I was a Laker," when he really wanted to be one. So I would like to see him go back to Orlando. I'd like to see him return to.
I think it would be perfect, actually.
He was a dominant player, man, and he was even last season. It was great to see him play.
When he's on the court, man, there's not many guys like Dwight Howard in the league. If he can stay healthy, he's a special player.
Biggest shoulders I've ever seen.
About a year and a half ago, I did a clip because Kobe called Dwight soft like Charmin. I thought that was like one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
Soft like Charmin out
And I was harsh on Dwight. I used to always be harsh on Dwight. But what happens is you live and you learn and you grow. Okay.
You had back spasms one day.
I had
and then
back.
you opened
that,
up.
That
you
like
really-
that brought me to tears, and I was like, God damn it, Dwight Howard plays through these. There's no way. But I was harsh on Dwight Howard. I won't be harsh on Dwight Howard anymore, although I look forward to seeing what happens with him. But I did also say in that clip that I would fight Dwight Howard because everyone's like, no, you, Jason, you wouldn't fight Dwight Howard. He'd kick your ass. Well, he definitely would, but it's not the size of the dog. Not the size of the dog in the fight, Francis. It's the size of the dog's friend Hassan Piker in the fight. That's what's gonna happen.
You're, in terms of the saying as well, you are letting that pit bull mouth overrule that puppy dog ass, because he would take you to the cleaners.
Oh,
no
I'd
doubt.
get crushed. And so would Hassan.
Yeah,
That's
of
okay,
course.
because afterwards I'd still be rolling around going like, come on, admit that it was funny. Soft like Charmin's funny. Just admit it was a little bit funny. It's a little bit funny. All right, guys, where do you think Dwight Howard's going? And what do you think about Dwight Howard at this point in his career? Are you just done with Dwight Howard? Are you like pissed still mad at him? Does people still hate this guy? Or have you come around more and understand that he's played through pretty much as many injuries as Derrick Rose, and he deserves a little bit of leeway for, you know, fighting through torn labrums and back spasms? The worst thing in the history of the world, back spasms. At Francis_Maxwell, at JasonRuben91, at TYT Sports, Facebook.com/TYT Sports. Francis Maxwell host on Instagram, JasonRuben91 on Instagram, at the Dan Keston on, I don't know, Dankashane on Twitter. Follow Dan.
Dankashane.
Most likely for the May 24th deadline. So he's going to fight somebody else, potentially Francis. You ready for this? You ready for it? Chris Eubank Jr. in September. And then they will eventually, Gennady Golovkin and Canelo would fight in January, February, which I think is exactly what I said on the Facebook Live clip yesterday. Drop the mic.